Hello, my name is Camilla Bell, and today I will be discussing my reactions and opinions to the videos in this discussion post. So, I would like to start with the spectrum video. I really never really knew how fluid gender really was and how many different genders there really were, from like transgender to like cisgender and non-binary. Like, I really never knew, like, I always knew it was something that you were born with, but I never knew like the different types like it could evolve into. And then to sexuality, that is again your sexual orientation. Two totally different things. I feel like we learn that gender is something that you're born with and your sexuality is something that you choose, when in actuality, especially in this day and age, you can choose both, even down to the DNA. Like sometimes, like it's not just cookie cut. Like sometimes, like some people are born with more Y chromosomes than they should, or more X chromosomes than they should. Like a person could have more than usual or less than usual. It's just a chemical imbalance, which is completely fine, because nobody is 100% male and 100% female. That is something, a good takeaway that I took from that video, because I feel like today is just like a real controversial topic, to where like anybody can be anything that they want to be. And the studies show, and DNA shows, like you never know. You could probably show more phenotypes and more X chromosomes than Y chromosomes. And that's what I learned from the first video. Now, the second video with the Kinsey study, I feel like that was a great study, but for the time period that was done, it didn't get the right recognition that it could have gotten. So, doing more background research, I learned when the study was done, it was done in like the 1940s, 50s, when that was a time where talking about sexuality was very closeted, very repressed. It was very something that, you couldn't talk to your friends over coffee with. It just wasn't a topic at the time that could just be really liberating to express to the whole world like it would be today. So when he had the study with not a good variety of individuals. I not personally, but just that would be the only variable that he could have tweaked just a little bit. I feel like he was only asking these specific questions to like middle class white and men and women. I feel like if he would have had a more variety of different kinds of people, from like race, class, religion, he would have got a more like a better variety of answers, and the data could have been more valid. But like the types of questions also, like they ranged from like, when was your first sexual experience, or have you ever had like a homosexual experience? And he even said in the video that he seen that most men had way more homosexual experiences than he ever would have thought. And that, I feel like that's when they had the most criticism, especially with women too. When the women's book came out, I feel like that one got the most criticism, because at that time the sexual desires and sexual experiences of women were very like under the house. That was not something to talk about outside of the house or even in the house. So I feel like if this study was done around the time of, the 1970s or 80s or even 90s, I feel like he would have gotten way more recognition than he would have in that time period. And so with the third video, the Johnson Masters, I feel like that study was really pivotal in the study of sexuality. I feel like it was very groundbreaking. The type of studies that they did were a little shocking. from recording, like, or not even recording, but just like taking data from people doing like sexual acts, even to like the orgasms. Like, this was just a pivotal moment for sex within scientific terms, for people just to learn more. Because around this time, that study was done, you could say, like in the mid 60s, early 70s, when people were starting to, feel more lighthearted about talking about the subject of sex. So it was just easier to talk about. And when this study was done, it was so many volunteers wanting to do this study. So even down to what they were doing, I just feel like it was a real pivotal moment for science, really the sociology of sex. And I feel like without these studies being done, we wouldn't be where we are today. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.